Hey, what's going, y'all? It is yours truly once again. Where's Ray? There I am. I'm waving. Oh, nice. Photo bomber. Cool. He walks away. This is my first time actually taking the Amtrak, and I'm pretty determined, as you can see, walking towards one of the conductors who's going to put me on the right rail car, per se. And by the right rail car, I meant coach class. Starting out, and as you can see, I wasn't too happy.
It depends on where you are. Like, Tokyo is like so huge and overwhelming. And like as big as I thought Chicago was, Chicago is huge to me, Tokyo.
All the loudmouths in coach class put aside, at least there was some good safety pamphlets that they have that you can read, and it talks about the do's and the don'ts, and it talks about the safe ingress and egress per se, given if there's an emergency. All that is pretty much clear printed. You're not going to see like an attendant give you instructions on these things like you would see on an airline, but otherwise it's all well thought out, what I'm saying, as far as you being able to read it. It's pretty straightforward. I also like that, they have the fold downs for your laptop if you want to put your laptop there. What I'm saying? I like that aspect.
But overall, pretty smooth trip, even though it was coach class. I mean, eventually I would purchase business class, and I'll talk about that later on here.
So you'll see me get up here because I want to show you something. Now, up top, you'll see that you can fit a full-size duffel bag. So yes, very similar to the carry-on sizes that you see put on airliners, unlike on a Greyhound, because that would be too large. And yes, also unlike a Greyhound, here in coach class you get full-size restrooms. The business class restrooms are much nicer. You can actually access other rail cars by pressing that press button. This particular rail car is right behind the locomotive. It has a restaurant, dining lounge, as well as business class within it. I didn't get a chance to film the dining lounge, but it looks a pretty Spartan to say the least. As of late, Amtrak has been updating its locomotive fleet. However, it hasn't been updating its rail car fleet. And as you can tell, man, these reading lights, they pretty old school. But I guess if they still work, oh well. Speaking of locomotives, here you go. Amtrak has been updating its locomotive fleet from the previous General Electrics to the Siemens. This one is called the Siemens Charger. Y'all gotta excuse me, but I had to be discreet. You see the outlet? But yes, this is for business class instead of coach class. I had to do that upgrade heading back home. You'll see it has very nice seats, and you could stretch the seat back. Not at the best angles, but you can still get away with it. It has good overhead area for your carry-ons, and you can still fold the little tables down for your laptops too. So it's all good. Just as in coach class, business class also has those old school reading lights, but they still work. All right, y'all, so I'm just now getting off the train. I enjoyed myself, riding business class instead of just coach. That way you don't end up as unhappy as I was upon riding coach class. Don't end up like me. End up like me this way instead. Yes, if you go on more than 2 hours, take business class, as I did on the way back home. By the way, Amtrak does have free Wi-Fi, and pretty much like your cell phone, it's going to work where it works best. Oh yeah, by the way, coach class also has outlets, just like on business class, so you'll be alright. And I had to get a drink while I was on board. Yes, you can get alcohol on the Amtrak. In my case, Bloody Mary. But after this, no more vodka for me.
Well, alrighty then. Just to recap, this is the first time that I've ever taken an Amtrak. I did a round trip to my hometown and back. So going to my hometown, I took coach class. And then on my way back from my hometown, I took business class, which I preferred because, you know, the one-way trip is over 4 hours, and anything over 2 hours, you need to be comfortable. So business class is good for those who are going beyond 2 hours. As you can see, I had my trip package, my trip ticket package per se. It looks just like an airline ticket package. And then to the right, you see this little blanket. You could buy this for like $10 from an Amtrak. Comes with a blanket, a blow-up pillow, some earbuds, and some eye covers, just so that you can go to sleep. By the way, on my way back, my locomotive engineer, he almost ran a red light. I bet y'all wonder, how do you run a red light in a train? Well, because, you know, these trains have red lights just like we do, but they're different. Instead of being used for intersections, these red lights per se are used for when you need to change tracks or if there's an oncoming train. So if he had not stopped at the red light, we could have derailed or had a collision with another train. So food for thought for y'all, just in case y'all wonder what these lights are for on the railroad tracks. But he stopped hard, but, you know, after that, it was smooth. But yeah, if you hear the train stop and he's squeaking, that's because he's stopping too hard. Them brakes on trains hardly squeak, like on the passenger trains. They hardly squeak. On the freight trains, they squeak. But overall, I had a good trip, y'all. And, you know, next time you see me, I'll be going on one of them sleepers across the country. Signing out.